Hi, my name's Barry Friedman. Since January of 2009, I've run Get More Corporate Gigs, an online community where entertainers learn the business of show business so they can share their talents with bigger audiences and make more money by working in better paying markets. Let me ask you this. Do you have a great show and not know how to sell it? Are you pricing your show based solely on the price of your competitors? Have you ever guessed what marketing efforts to use and how to prioritize them? Do you ineffectively try collecting letters of recommendation from satisfied clients? Does your tongue get tied when speaking to prospects about booking you? I began my career as a professional entertainer when I was 20 years old. For the first 5 years, my partner and I traveled around the country performing our show at Renaissance festivals and cheesy private parties and other less than glamorous public venues. I knew we had a great show and I had no idea how to effectively market it, so I just waited for the next call to come in. It was frustrating because while I was young and had tons of energy for performing, my opportunities were limited because I didn't know the most basic tools necessary for running a business. I was the same guy in real life that I was on stage. I had no mentor to let me know that show business was 2 words, and without the business in place, no one was ever going to see the show. I'd occasionally send out a newsletter that was all about me, a waste of time. I would make cold calls to agents and bookers and have no idea what to say. I used to write letters to people I thought could book my show and again, make it all about how great I was. I cringe about some of those early marketing efforts. Well, in 1988, I did my very first corporate gig. My partner and I were MCs for a 3-day conference for Thrifty Drug. Someone saw us at a Renaissance festival and had enough imagination to picture me without tights and my partner without bloomers. The experience was profound. We wore nice clothes and had microphones and were handed a check that made my hands shake. I never, ever wanted to go back to the corn dog and turkey leg circuit. Well, I became a student of marketing, studying with some of the true masters of personal achievement, including Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy, Earl Nightingale. Mind you, this was all pre-internet. I went to live events and read books and listened to cassette tapes. And what a difference all this training has made. I discovered that buyers don't give a darn about me. They care about them. Imagine that. I remember the first time I heard that from Brian Tracy at a live event in San Francisco. I was sure that I was the one exception. People must care about my show because it's funny and I'm good and I've won championships and yada yada. Brian Tracy was correct about everyone else, but not me. How lucky that I was smart enough to not take his expensive advice seriously. Well, my hard-headedness lasted a few more months where I continued to not get booked, not get calls, and not make money. I decided finally to put what I had learned and ignored into action. Yes, I know it's a big step for a man to take. Well, many of you know my story, multiple appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and Jay Leno, opening act tours for over 24 superstars, Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, Tom Jones. And I ended that leg of my career in the 90s and shifted to corporate entertainment, where I still do shows at high-end resorts all over the world. It's a great, great ride. Well, as you can imagine, over the years, I've been asked so many times to help people with their fledgling careers, friends, and even people I don't know from around the world. I believe that there is such a lack of focus on business in the entertainer's career that I was looked to as the go-to guy for advice. And because the requests for information and help became so overwhelming, in January of 2009, I started Get More Corporate Gigs, the premier online community for entertainers around the world that seeks support and education from someone who has mastered the tips, tricks, and techniques to effectively market an entertainment act to buyers. And, that would be me. This site contains articles and audios, videos, interviews, and user forums that teach the business of getting your act booked in whatever market you perform: fairs, schools, cruises, comedy clubs, corporate meetings. And since January of 2009, thousands of entertainers have taken my free 7-day training course. You can sign up for it at the website below. Hundreds of members have completed the 52-week curriculum and are now running successful businesses and working the kind of gigs that used to seem out of reach. Well, it's been both a pleasure and an honor to give back to my community in this way. I heard the call and felt the responsibility and created the program that has changed the lives of people around the world. And isn't that what we do as entertainers? The letters of thanks and personal interactions have touched me and verified that all my efforts have been appreciated. When I started out in the entertainment business, and I'm not counting festivals and fairs, I mean actual show business, there wasn't a lot of competition. A handful of acts were working, and we all knew each other, and it was a tight-knit community. That isn't the case today. The supply of talented acts far outweighs the demand, and having a great act isn't nearly as important as having world-class marketing. Not even close. There are dozens of average acts that make huge money because they know how to play the game. They've learned that money is made way before showtime. And by getting great clients and keeping them, an average show with great marketing will work far more than a great show with lousy marketing. I've shown thousands of entertainers the way to better market their act, and for those who have done the work, the results are staggering. One member of my site reports an annual increase of over 1,200% just from the free course. He kicks himself for waiting a full year to join the program, because with the support of the community, he more than tripled his income after completing the 52-week class. And that is just one of dozens of gleaming testimonials. This video, however, is about you. So let me show you a couple things you can do right now to better market your act, regardless of the market you're working. First, your video's too long. Yep, unless you're someone that has painstakingly sliced every self-serving frame from your tightly edited demo, it's too long. And it's not enough about how you can bless the life of the person that's going to buy you. I'm not talking about a few seconds here or a joke there. I'm talking toxic chunks of video that don't forward the conversation in the buyer's mind, and there is always a conversation in the buyer's mind. I'm also talking about cutting repetitive, ego-driven, low-quality footage from your reel. These bumps in the road are exactly what causes a producer or a buyer to hit stop and grab the next video on the pile. A few things about buyers that you need to know. They're very busy. They don't care about you. And there's very little chance they're going to watch your entire video. Yep, I'm talking to you. They aren't going to watch your whole video. Everything you can do to shorten the length and increase the quality and relevancy of your demo reel will increase the chances of you getting booked immediately, no questions asked. You don't want a buyer ever to say, we could use this act. You want them to say, can we get this act? And I cover a lot about training videos, demo videos, in lesson 1 of my free training course. Next, I'm guessing that you're mostly selling yourself on features instead of benefits. As I clearly mentioned above, buyers don't care about you, what you can do. They care about what you can do for them. That's it. They don't care about your skills, your kids, your new car, your closet full of costumes. They're planning an event and they want to know one thing: how can you make their life better? If it doesn't speak directly and clearly to that point, it's a feature. Here are a few examples from a party band, and I'm making these up. Any similarity to the way you talk to your prospective buyers, purely coincidental. You know these are features because after I say them, I'm going to ask, so what? And you can almost feel the conversation in the buyer's mind go limp. We do covers from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. So what? We are 100% self-contained. So what? We have a 4-piece horn section. So what? We've been together since '97. So what? We're easy to work with. So, hey, now turn those benefits into features and let's see what happens to the conversation up here. The crowd will dance all night and sing along to their favorite hits from the past 5 decades. So what? Hey, I want that to happen at my party. You'll incur no additional cost because we bring lights and microphones and speakers and everything in between. So what? Hey, that sounds exactly what I want. Our 4-piece horn section provides the bam that keeps the party rolling, and no synthesizer can do that. So what? Hey, that sounds good, man. I want my party to kick butt. This is what's happening. Our experience as a band means that we've seen it all and we have the professional know-how to exceed your highest expectations, and we do. So what? Hey, I'm feeling really good about this. We have a no whining policy, and except for the praise you get from your audience, you won't even know we were there. So what? Man, I gotta call these guys. I hope they're available for my show. Features are great for technical manuals and spec sheets. They are absolutely the worst part of sales copy. They are the poop in the middle of the hiking trail. They're the broken down car on the single lane road. When we state features instead of benefits, we place ourselves firmly in the pack with everyone else. A terrible place to be. So right here, right now, I want to tell you one thing I truly believe, and hear this. None of these mistakes are your fault. These are the same mistakes all of us make because we have spent years, maybe decades, perfecting our talent, and probably not even a full hour perfecting our business methodology. A lot of speakers and entertainers came up believing that if their message was powerful enough, if their magic was flawless, if their juggling or ventriloquism was second to none, the world would be the path to their phone. Again, this is not your fault. I've seen the most talented entertainers in the world make basic mistakes like the ones I mentioned in this video, and others that are just as costly, including not asking for specific letters of recommendation, not staying in touch with satisfied clients, pricing your act based solely on that of your competitors, and not using the telephone to properly build relationships. I cover these and much more in my free 7-day training course. So right now, I want you to do two things. First, go sign up for my free 7-day training course. I mean, come on, what are you waiting for? It's free. And many entertainers have told me that series alone has changed the way they run their business. If it changes your business, do me a favor and drop me a line. Those communications make my day. Secondly, I want you to pull out your current demo reel and watch it through the eyes of a buyer that doesn't know you from Adam or Eve. Look for parts that speak to the ego of the performer instead of the inner conversation of the buyer. Look for the parts that don't advance the storyline of how this act will bless the life of a buyer. Look for the features that should be benefits, and look at the length and ask yourself honestly, would this be better if it was 25, 50% shorter? Hey, I hope you'll take what I've shared in this video and put it into practice in your career. I know you'll be closer to living the life you crave, one that allows you to perform for more audiences, make more money, and use your time more effectively, and have the freedom to do what you really love. This is Barry Friedman from Get More Corporate Gigs, wishing you the best. Thank you.